Hello students, welcome to the Sketchup 8 tutorial on how to draw an eraser. Let's go ahead and open Sketchup 8. Alright, let's immediately save this file. Let's go to File, Save As. Now in the Save In window, make sure you click the down arrow, look for the word computer, and then keep going and look for your student number down here. So click on your student number, and then I want you to call the file eraser, and then click Save. Alright, so this is what we're going to draw today. Have you ever had a pink pearl eraser? I'm sure you have. I've probably had about 100 of them. So we're going to draw this eraser to the exact measurements. Alright, from the top toolbar, let's click the magnifying glass, and then I want you to position the magnifying glass between the girl's feet, and then I want you to use the mouse wheel and zoom in. Okay, so we're going to draw the eraser near the girl's feet. Alright, let's go up to the top toolbar and click on the rectangle tool. And what I want to do is I want to click once on the ground and start pulling out my rectangle. But I don't want to click again because right now the rectangle is active. I can make it any shape that I want. Now what I want to do is I want to teach you how to put in exact measurements for these shapes. So even though I haven't clicked the pencil twice and I said that this rectangle is active, it's going to allow me to type in the bottom right hand corner, the dimensions window. Now you don't actually have to move your mouse over there, you just start typing. Now I've gone ahead and measured the dimensions of a pink pearl eraser. So I know that it is exactly 5.5 centimeters. So I need you to type in 5.5 cm and then comma, space, and the width is 1.5 centimeters. So if you need to pause the video so that you can type in the exact measurements, then please do so. Now hit enter. So I've created a rectangle on the ground, the exact width and the exact length of a pink pearl eraser. So we need to zoom in again, don't we? So let's click on the magnifying glass, position it over that rectangle, and zoom in. So right now, it's not a 3D object. It's just a rectangle on the ground. So we need to use the push-pull tool. So let's click on push-pull. And then I want you to click once on that rectangle, just once, and let go of the mouse, and then start pulling upwards. Now, the exact height of a pink pearl eraser is 6.7 millimeters. So I want you to go to your keyboard and type in 6.7 millimeters. And as you do that, you should see the dimension appear in the bottom right hand corner. Now hit enter. Alright. So now we have created a box that has the exact dimensions of a pink pearl eraser. Alright, now notice how small it is compared to the girl's feet. That makes sense, doesn't it? Alright, let's use the orbit tool from the top toolbar, and let's orbit around so that we are facing the very front of that eraser, straight on. Now, what makes a pink pearl eraser so recognizable is that it has those slanted edges, doesn't it? So let's create those. So let's use the pencil tool, and I want you to start in the bottom left hand corner where it says endpoint, and I want you to draw a diagonal line up to the top edge of that eraser. Now I'm going to go up to the orbit tool, and I'm going to spin around so I can see the top of the eraser. Now I have to continue that line across this face or the top of the eraser. So I'm going to go back to the pencil tool, and I'm going to draw across. Now it's very important that I draw it in the green horizon, in the green, make sure it's highlighted in green, or else it's not going to work. So I'm going to draw across, and then I'm going to use the orbit tool, and I'm going to spin around to the other side. Okay. And then what I need to do is I need to continue that line. So I'm going to click back on the pencil tool, and I'm going to go from this point down to the bottom right hand corner. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to use the orbit tool, and I'm going to spin around again to the front. Okay. So what I want Sketchup 8 to do is to cut off this corner. So let's see if it's going to work. I want to use the eraser tool from the top toolbar. I'm going to click on the eraser tool, and what I want to do is I want to get rid of this line. So you see how I'm not really positioned directly in front of the eraser. I'm kind of looking at it from an angle. So let's click on this line, and let's click on this line, and this line, this line, and this line. So what Sketchup 8 has done is it has created this slanted face for us. Perfect. All right, so now that we know how to do it on one side, let's see if you remember the steps to do it on the other. So let's go back up. I use the orbit tool, and I position the camera directly in front of the front face. So I'm going to go back up to the pencil tool, and this time I'm going to start in the top right hand corner, and I'm going to try to match the angle as best that I can. And I'm going to go down to the bottom. Okay. Now I've got to position the camera. I've got to move around to the bottom of the eraser this time. Go back up to the pencil tool, and I've got to remember that when I draw this line across, it has to be highlighted in green or it's not going to work. Okay. And I can position the camera, and I'm going to move the orbit tool around so I can see the back. And I'll use the pan tool, the hand, to move this down. All right. So it looks like I've got to look at it from a little bit more of an angle and then use the pan tool. Okay. So now I'm going to follow that line with the pencil tool and go back up to this corner. Okay. So let's look at it from the front again, and maybe a little bit from the bottom. And let's use the eraser tool. Let's get rid of this line, this back edge, this line, and this line. So there we go. I've got the overall shape of the pink pearl eraser. All right, let's color it in. From the top toolbar, let's click on the paint tool. And it should come out with the colors, but if it doesn't, then in this window here, you could click the down arrow, and then you have all of these choices here. Okay, we don't need any of these for this project. We just want colors. Okay, there are a couple of shades of pink you can use. So let's just try one. I'll click on this one, and let's just try it. How does that look? That looks pretty good. Now, you remember, you got to color all the sides of the eraser. So let's orbit around and go back to the paint tool and click on this. And then let's orbit around. Let's look at it from the bottom and use the paint tool and color the bottom, and then this side. And I think I have one more to go, and that's the back side. All right. So now let's orbit around to the front. Okay. So we've got the overall shape of the pink pearl eraser. So now what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to create this lettering on top. I want you to orbit so that you're looking directly down on the eraser. Okay. I want to introduce you to a new tool. So let's close this window. And the new tool, to get the new tool, you're going to have this secondary toolbar on the side. So if you don't already have it, it's easy to get. You go to View, Toolbars, and then you click on Large Tool Set. Okay, so please do that. All right, I want to introduce you to the 3D Text tool. So let's click on that. All right, now the window that says Enter Text, we know we want to type in pink Pearl. Now you can try and search for a good match for the font, but I've chosen Monotype Corsiva. It's close, it's not perfect, but it's not bad. Okay. All right, so we need to set the height of this lettering. So you got to imagine that the width of this eraser is only 1.5 centimeters across. So the lettering can't be more than 1.5 centimeters. It has to be quite a bit smaller than 1.5 centimeters. So I want you to type in 0.6 centimeters here. Okay. Now for extruded, what extruded means is how high that lettering will stick out. So just for fun, I want you to type in 3 millimeters. Okay. Now click place. Okay. And now I can move that lettering around and I want to position it centered perfectly on the top of my eraser. Now, once you do that, once you click your mouse and it will set it on that face, it's highlighted in blue. So if you want to get rid of the blue highlight, you just click on the arrow tool or the selection tool and click anywhere else. So in other words, deselect. So now if I use my orbit tool and I spin around, this is what the extruded means. You see how high those letters are sticking out? Now that's a cool effect, but it just doesn't work on this project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Edit, Undo 3D Text. And I'm going to do it again. It's not going to take me very long now that I know what I'm doing. So let's go back to the 3D Text tool. I'm going to type in Pink Pearl. Now here's an opportunity that if you didn't like the font, you can try something else. For the height, 0.6 centimeters. And for extruded, let's leave it at 0. So let's click place. So now I'll go in and place that perfectly centered at the on the top of my eraser. And I want to get rid of the blue line, the blue highlighting, so I'll click on the select tool, the arrow tool, and click over here. Now the last step is I want to color in this lettering black. So if I look back on the picture, yes, the lettering is in black. So let's go up to the paint can, the paint tool, and I'll choose black. And if I position my paint tool right here, it should paint it black. And there we go. There's my Pink Pearl student eraser. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to close this window. Now as I zoom out again, okay, and I always like to kind of look at these objects in relation to other things. So there are the girl's feet, and then if I zoom out, you can see how small that eraser is compared to the girl's feet. And if I want to look at it again, I'll zoom in. Now if you want to go the extra mile and you want to put in the brand or the actual company that makes the Pink Pearl, then you could type in Dixon there. Okay, but there you go. We've created an exact model with the exact dimensions of a Pink Pearl student eraser. Let's go to File, Save. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.